Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Only Stupid Answers. This is the show where we answer your questions about movies, TV shows, comic books, fandoms, everything, all of the things. And this is a very special episode because this weekend we had the DC Fandome event. So I needed a very special guest to come on and discuss it with me. So with me today is Mr. Jay Washington. Say hi to the kids at home.
Hi, kids at home. You flatter me with your introduction, sir.
It's just the truth. So for those that don't know, you've been on the show a few times at this point, but for those that don't know, where can they find you? What are you up to?
Man, you can find me pretty much some of everywhere. And when people say that they don't mean it, I mean it. Yep. You can find me on the internet, on stage, in TV, in film. Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern with me and Winston A. Marshall. The Mad Titan podcast, I got to record that. Like I said, I'm always on the stand-up stage. My mini stand-up special, Educated Insanity, is out. Thanks to Funny Media Group. So many different things and so many different places I am.
So how was it to do a quick tangent? How was it to film a special? Like that blows my mind.
So the way they do it is they have everybody, a lot of different comics coming in the film. And then they tell you, like, you're going to film the thing. And it's like a special. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then you realize the reality of it's 6 cameras. Mm-hmm. It's an audience. It's a full setup. It's like, all right, I'm only going to do a certain amount of time because I don't want to burn everything just yet.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I need this to hit. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, the thing is just like, all right, just treat it as a regular show.
Yeah.
That's my mindset.
Yeah.
Treat it as a regular show. So I do that. When I'm done, I'm in my head because we're all our own worst critics. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, we'll see, whatever. And then I had 2 other shows that day, literally. So I filmed that, went to Riverside and did a show, then came back to Hollywood later that night and did a show. So then the producer, he hit me with a rough clip of it. I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, again, it's still me just going, all right, whatever. It's not going to be up to me at the end of the day. And when I put it out, the response that it got so quickly, I was like, wait, what? Excuse me? Like, I hit over 20,000 views in like a week. I was like, you don't like me. Yeah. You know, because us being on YouTube, you know, we always look at the ratios.
Yeah.
How many people have liked it? How many people have disliked it? It was only like 30 dislikes total. It's still like only like 30-something dislikes out of like 31,000 views. I was like, you know, I think I'll take this.
Yep.
I'll take this.
Yep. You know, that's incredible. I love that. You know, obviously you have a few other friends that do stand up in it, and I really respect it because I find it incredibly, the idea of it very intimidating. But it's interesting. You talk about the ratios, the YouTubes, and the likes and dislikes. And I was thinking about it the other day, and it blows my mind that Twitter, the only thing Twitter allows people to do is like something, is like and comment, and yet it hasn't like it's not a more friendly environment than YouTube.
Well, you know they're about to start adding downvotes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going with.
No.
Twitter's about to add downvotes.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
So, Twitter's about to add downvotes to comments. So Instagram already decided to take off the like thing and count to certain people.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see, some people's egos couldn't be hurt. Let's just be real. That's all it was. And now you finna crush people's dreams who think they killing something. Then they just get a downvote like, what is this, Reddit?
No.
This is Reddit?
Oh my God. Well, listen, we're not talking about any of that today. What we're talking about is DC Fandome. Of course, if you would like to listen to episodes like this early, if you would like extended episodes, you can do that over at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. If you're listening to this on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating and review. We love it. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, you could give us those 5 stars and say whatever you want in the review, and I will read it. I will read it to our audiences. And if you listen to this on Spotify, we ask you a question every week. Last week, we asked, how would you like to see the James Bond franchise change? And Xavier Thomas answered, I think 007 needs to step away from the past villains and tropes. It seems like they just keep remaking the same movie. I like the idea of making the next few 007 movies with a different actor each time. And Wazalewski says, he's kind of a terrible spy, right? Maybe a movie where he's just a great spy. JD, have you seen the new Bond movie?
Of course I did. I saw it early. Shouts out to Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go. What did you think?
I liked it. I think it's just, for me personally, it's just a little bit too long.
I get that.
It was a good send off. It was a perfect circle completion.
Yeah, for real.
For the Daniel Craig saga.
Yeah,
it completed the circle completely. My biggest dislike aside the time is I wanted more of Rami Malek.
Yeah,
I wanted more Rami Malek. I don't know. I felt like I didn't get what I needed to out of him being a villain, and I felt like it was somewhat disappointing when you see his villain and you're like, oh. Okay, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, so let's get into it. We've got a lot to talk about with DC Fandome. We're just going to kind of go straight through and hit some of the main highlights. Let's start with, and I don't even know if this is the order they released. I had a little trouble like I was on it. I had it on another screen, and I kept I would look away and do something, look back, and hey, they announced 15 other things. I was like, holy shit.
Man, they were flying. I mean, I think they decided to fly through this year. They learned last year was way too long.
Yeah, because I want to say last year was like the full day, right?
It was 8 hours.
Yeah.
They were like, somebody was like, look, okay, this is the first time doing it. Everybody's still at home. We understand.
Yeah.
If things go better, this cannot be an 8-hour event. Because, some people are like, well, what about Comic-Cons? Blah, 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 blah. You're in person.
Yep.
You're trying to get people to sit in front of a screen for all this time.
Yep. Yeah. They're like, listen, Yahtzee might strike on Monday. We got to keep things. We got to keep things going.
We got to keep this moving.
Yeah, we gotta keep this moving. So let's start with the first thing I saw, which was the Black Adam footage.
That was the one out the gate. That was out the gate.
So the we get a little bit a tease of speaking of Bonds, Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate. We got Hawkman, Cyclone, Atom Smasher. We get little peeks of their costumes. Little behind the scenes concept art, and then we cut to Dwayne Johnson giving his intro, and it's funny how a lot of all the stuff that showed up last year and this year I had similar reactions. And so for Black Adam, the one main takeaway is god damn, Dwayne Johnson's the best hype man in the world. You can't get a better fucking hype man than Dwayne Johnson.
Right. If you have a dude whose career was predicated on being on a microphone, pumping up millions and millions of people, what do you get? You know what I'm saying? So that's a given for him. This movie, and I'm not saying that it will be before anybody snaps. This movie could be terrible, but the way Dwayne Johnson pumps it up, you still want to go see it regardless.
100%. To the point where I almost feel like the smart move for them is to open the movie with him doing hey, everybody, I'm Dwayne Johnson. Here's my, you know what I mean? Then I would get oh, fuck, I'm excited for this movie.
I have no problem with that. I'm be sitting there, all of a sudden you see the Warner Brothers logo and it just stops and goes, hi, ladies and gentlemen. We were wait, we just not gonna start the movie?
You know how in some of the Warner Brothers cartoons, the Warner Brothers logo opens up and Porky Pig or Bugs Bunny pops out, and this time it's Dwayne Johnson. He's hey, everybody, here's this movie.
Hey, everybody, Dwayne Johnson, Black Adam star, and enjoy.
And now I just started thinking of I get with Space Jam, you want a basketball player, but what if you did Space Jam with Dwayne Johnson? just saying.
You just want every cartoon to get clothesline. Everybody just to catch all of the violence, and I'm here for it. I'm really here for it.
Why not? So we cut to the early footage, which has the character that I believe a woman archaeologist that I believe is supposed to be the
ISIS.
She won't be called ISIS in the movie.
She won't be
called ISIS in the movie.
That's so crazy that the actual god's name in actual Egyptian lore can no longer be used. Thank you, terrorists.
Yeah. And she's played by Sarah Shahi.
Yep.
And there we get a shot of a crown that's floating above this tomb. So clearly there's some magic shenanigans going on. Although it's weird. I'm remembering back to the previous DC Fandome where we got shots of a purple crystal that implied Eclipse was going to be part of this movie. And for some reason, seeing that crown, I did some research and I can't figure out why my brain is computing it this way. But I saw that crown and I immediately thought, oh, Eclipso. But I don't know why. I don't think Eclipso's jam is a crown or anything.
I think what we saw last year was all concept art.
Yeah.
Now, if we go from, because remember, concept art changes.
Yep.
So now we have this is what it is.
Yep. And so she says the word Shazam, which it still blows my mind that theoretically we might get this Black Adam crossing over with Zachary Levi Shazam, because tonally I don't see how that's going to work.
Oh, you don't? You don't? I think it's the greatest thing ever, because you're going to have Zachary Levi, who as Shazam, remember, he's still a kid.
Yep.
No matter what, he's still, and Zachary Levi knows how to play. That's why he's the perfect Shazam right now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old Asher Angel looks. He's still a kid.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
I interviewed Asher Angel years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's still growing. It's going to get to a point where they're just going to be like, so we just going to use Zachary Levi for the whole thing.
Yeah. He's getting to the point where like he looks like he's about ready to go for his like graduate degree or something.
Man, but to know, because again, archaeologists do the studies.
Yeah.
And then to her to know and to put her hand down and say Shazam, it works. Like I said, Zachary Levi's energy as Shazam versus the brutality and the snarkiness you'll get in Black Adam. I think because, bro, I'll let you finish because I got some thoughts. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, that was a couple thoughts because obviously because this is cut together because it looks like, she summons him and then suddenly there are soldiers there. So I'm interested to see how that all coalesces in the actual movie.
Right.
He grabs a soldier by the neck and straight up Mortal Kombat fatalities that dude.
I was like, yo.
Which made me wonder. I think we answered our own question. This movie is not rated R, right? It's going to be PG-13, right?
Let me tell you something. If Shazam can have a full-on horror scene happen,
that's true. That's a very
in
good
the
point.
boardroom.
That's a very
full-on horror scene.
Yeah, that scene's fucked up. That's a good point,
bro.
Yeah.
I watched the dude just die. I was like, but again, I liked it too because they set the tone of. Is he a villain? Mm-hmm. But Dwayne Johnson keeps saying he's an anti-hero.
Yeah. But
again, Venom murdered 8 people to go to a rave. I just want y'all to know that.
Yeah.
But technically did.
Yeah.
But you see this, so you're starting to set the tone of what the brutality level that we've been hearing about with Black Adam, how there's this take no shit mentality.
Yeah.
And for him just to electrocute dude, you're like, oh
no. And then they shoot bullets at him. He catches one of them, and in a scene that I think was really well cut together. And then he raises off the floor, floating. And I think you're right. I think this trailer really set a solid tone for the movie. And I'm very interested to see where it goes next. The release date is July 29th, 2022. That's way closer than I thought. That's way closer.
I think initially it was supposed to be the end of this year.
Yeah.
We're supposed to, but thanks COVID. Mm-hmm. So we're supposed to get it in December. But now they made this a summer blockbuster in the middle of the summer.
Yep.
Because again, I think this is where now you got to play the game smart. If you're movie studios, Warner's dropping Black Panther 2, dropping all this, Doctor Strange 2, Marvel is dropping all this stuff in the summer next year. You have to plan around this because, DC as a whole now is running their own race, it looks like. Mm-hmm. But you still got to be smart box office wise because we know there's no doubt a Marvel movie will dominate the box office.
Yeah.
So you want to give your film a chance to have life. A Dwayne Johnson film is going to make money because he's been proven to be a box office draw regardless.
Yeah.
So this is going to come out July 29th. This is after the 4th. This is in the point of August when nobody really starts to care anymore. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have breathing room unless somebody moves something around.
Yeah. Yeah. So what before we move on to the next thing, any other thoughts on Black Adam?
I love the fact we didn't get a lot. Again, a lot of people were mad we didn't get a lot of trailers in this thing. And I'm like, why? I don't know why people get upset nowadays. Yes, it's good to see a trailer. You want to know something. But we notice films now are doing this thing. Yeah. There's a teaser, a main trailer, a final trailer. But we always start complaining. I say we as society, we start complaining. Oh, they told us too much from the trailer. And I don't think that's the case because I need to see how he was a slave. Mm-hmm. I need to see, and it sounds weird to say, but that's Black Adam's story.
Yep.
He's a slave that fought his masters off, somehow acquires these abilities, and instead of helping people, is just like, I kill him.
Yep.
So I'm excited for it again. How long have we been waiting for this movie with him?
I feel like a decade, right?
Yep. Since he announced it, it's been over a decade.
Yep.
This is the one, like, we've heard of other movies like, yeah, such is doing this movie. We heard Dwayne Johnson, The Rock is Black Adam, and there have been concept art for years.
Yep.
And now when it finally went into production, people were like, all right, we'll see. Mm-hmm. Then you get we've wrapped.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a real movie. Yeah. Like, it wasn't, because again, this hesitation is a long time. I'm excited to see it. This is one of the things I look, Dwayne Johnson ain't the best actor in the world. We know this. Look, let's just be real. Mm-hmm. He makes fun movies.
Yeah, he's a charisma machine.
He's a charisma machine. But you have the chance he gets to be the charisma that he took from wrestling, in a sense, that brutality, that heelish persona, and amp it up in a superhero genre with CGI and wires. Mm-hmm. Give them all the HGH, ladies and gentlemen.
So let's go on to let's do Aquaman 2 now. We got some behind the scenes footage with Jason Momoa, his first day on set and everything. It looks like we get some like concept art, which shows him finding like giant grasshoppers. It feels like Journey to the Center of the Earth type shit. It definitely like, hey, remember how big and crazy and wonderful Aquaman 1 was? Here you go.
That's what made. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it. Like he said in the thing when they in the footage when one of the producers was like, yeah, Aquaman's the biggest DC movie ever. I'm like, what? I mean, I love Aquaman, but it's like that's crazy to me.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I also love that, like, I think it's easy to watch Aquaman 1 and be like, wow, they let James Wan do whatever he wanted. And then in this footage, you see Black Manta. He's not wearing the sleek as hell armor from the last movie. He's wearing his goofy ass Silver Age armor. I'm like, oh, I guess they didn't let James Wan do whatever he wanted last time. Now he's doing whatever he wants.
They said, hey, man, that freedom you got that first movie? Mm-hmm. All right, look, you're going to understand. We're going to rein this back a little bit. We let you have the fun. You got to do all the crazy type of costumes to reinvent them. We even let you do, again, a horror scene in the middle. We took your horror movie away, fam. We're not doing that. No. You want to stay on? You want to stay on this?
He's like, it's fine, but you got to let me put Black Manta in his goofiest armor ever. You've got.
Give me the slick rubber suit with the.
It's one of the. Listen, I love it. It looks exactly like I think it was like an Alice Ross painting that did it. But it's like, but the Black Manta's armor in the last movie was so fucking cool. It was so cool looking.
I hate every comic book movie and TV show that does that. They'll give you something so dope, and they'll be like, "Here's what you wanted," and you're like, "No,
no, actually,
no, it really isn't. I'm fine with."
We also get a little bit of Patrick Wilson. It looks like he might be working with Aquaman. He looks like he's in an action scene. Every time I saw Patrick Wilson in the stuff, I was getting very much like Magneto and X-Men 2 vibes, where it's like, you were the bad guy in the last one, but this one, we need your help for whatever reason.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. Because he gets out of prison. I think he decides, remember, when you're ready to talk, we can, at the end of Aquaman. And so Orm's been clearly working out underwater.
Yes. Which questions, but listen, we're not. It's the same as how do they talk? Listen, but it's not what we're here for. We're here
for this. Yeah. But yeah, they're gonna team up for something again. The Lost Kingdom again. What is it? Where his mother was?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Is there something there? Because again, the beautiful thing about these comic book movies is when they show like all these other kingdoms, it's like, oh, the Earth isn't what you think the Earth is. Here's like, we get Atlantis is a kingdom underwater that encompasses the 7 seas, the oceans, right? But then there's a whole nother kingdom. You're like, where?
Yeah,
huh?
Where are you keeping that? So
it's always weird.
It'll be interesting to see what all that leads up to. And the release date for that is December 16th, 2022. 2022 is going to be a goddamn full year.
Oh, dude. But listen, Marvel and DC TV shows, movies, if you are a comic book fan in those two genres alone, you getting so much of everything. You can't, your appetite there isn't that big, well, I got to wait. You're getting something almost every single month of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Or in multiple, like there's going to be times where like it's going to be a lot. It's going to be overload, but we can handle it.
Look, all I need to do is just get back on the Disney press list. Then I think I'll be better in my life.
Got to get on that Disney press list. Any final thoughts for Aquaman 2?
Again, it's good to see the character coming back. Jason Momoa has fun. I think that's the one thing with any character. You like to see the actors having fun with it and not taking it, for lack of better words, too serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Having a lot of fun.
100%. And I like, obviously we only get a little bit of them, but I like that we're getting more Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Black Manta. And I hope that now that, like, because I think the first thing I saw him in was Aquaman. So now that he's become what he is, like a goddamn superstar. Yeah. I hope that it's like, and also not just as a fan of him as an actor, but Black Manta's. Black Manta. It's interesting because Black Manta and Black Adam are two of those characters where I actually think the antagonist is more interesting than the protagonist.
The hero.
I think to me Black Manta is more interesting than Aquaman is. So it's like, give him some room to breathe.
Especially the story they built with this one.
Yeah.
Again, you're the reason my father died. I was a pirate. I wanted to kill you off jump, but you're the reason my father died.
Yeah.
And so now I'm, that vengeance motive.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it also, I'm so possessed with vengeance. I'm gonna get your home people to help me out to take you out.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to go over to HBO Max. We've been talking about movies. Now HBO Max is getting in the game too. With Peacemaker, we got a first look at this. Again, something that an echo of last year. There was a Q&A with James Gunn, and between this Q&A and the Suicide Squad Q&A, I'm very impressed with the feeling that all these people genuinely like each other, and I feel like that's a credit to James Gunn and the set he runs. That it's like, oh, all these people genuinely like each other. They get along. It seems like a very positive environment, and with all the, for the past however many years we've been unpacking a lot of the negativity in Hollywood. It's like, oh, cool that there's sets where people like each other and get along and things work out.
And they have fun. And you can see during that panel, they're having fun.
Yes.
You got Steve Agee still recording Daniela Brooks. Is like, no, go ahead. Like, James Gunn, I've always said this, and I mean this, and I've been claiming this into existence. I am going to work with James Gunn on a film or something. I've got to. Because the fun you hear about with all the actors and everybody, every project that they worked with, it's like you hear he's serious, but he has fun. And you see it in the finished work.
Yeah.
People have their thoughts about the Suicide Squad one way or another.
Yeah.
But what you cannot deny is everybody's having fun in that movie.
Yep.
Everybody's having fun.
And they're cranking that up even more with Peacemaker. It is interesting how, like, tonally, this feels more like the comics, where you'll have like your team movie that functions one way, and then a character will spin off, and whatever energy he brought to that team is like doubled down on the solo thing. Because it's like, I can't. Yes, we had Starro in Suicide Squad. I have a little bit of trouble imagining that's the same universe where an eagle will hug a dude. But you know what? Fuck it. It's Peacemaker's show. We'll roll with it.
Let me tell you something. If an eagle gonna hug anybody, he gonna hug fucking John Cena. Let's just be real. He is going to hug John Cena out of anybody. I'm content with it, brother. I'm content with. Again, to watch John Cena embrace this character goes back to with Dwayne Johnson. Those wrestling roots, being in front of crowds, knowing how to entertain crowds, and having to compress that, if you will, now, and make this into one solid character that could only be translated through the barrel of a camera. And him taking what he's done with Peacemaker. Dude, when he wakes up in the hospital, I gotta go. My hero, who are you? Peacemaker. Ain't no hero, they no damn Peacemaker. Like, it's great. I'm so excited. Look, the violence, like you said, the assholery that he has, I'm here for it all.
Well, and I think it's an interesting the arc they've set up for this guy, of because we get a little bit. They talked a little bit in the Q&A how Danielle Brooks' character is probably the closest to Peacemaker. And we get a clip of it in the trailer where she's like, hey, you're a real dick, but maybe if you dialed it back, people would actually like you. And it's like that's a kind of compelling direction to take the character in. I like John Cena a lot in Suicide Squad. I like that because the two big movies I saw John Cena in were F9 and Suicide Squad, and I think Suicide Squad did a better job of capturing the fact that he is just a giant action figure, like and he's really funny. Like he's really good at bringing that type of energy, and it's good to see them do more of that in this show. We also get a look at Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante, who is 100% their version of Deadpool.
It's so funny because if you take this version of Vigilante, Adrian Chase, versus what we got in Arrow, like it's so weird. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, and it's also weird too that like I've only read a couple of the Adrian Chase comics, but when Arrow was coming out, I did my due diligence or whatever. Yeah. And that character's bleak as fuck. Like his run ends with him committing suicide. Like it's weird that like this character keeps like coming back. It's like this is a tricky dude. I mean, like, but you sure, go for it. I think the costume looks great.
The costume looks so what Peacemaker is. Look at the Suicide Squad. It's a comic book movie that looks like, oh, this is what the colors of a comic book movie. Again, James Gunn has done what? Marvel films. Yeah. They've always been brighter and bubblier with the colors. I'm using that as a reference. Yeah. And so, but when you get into the movie, you're like, oh. And I'm so glad we're going to get another one-upsmanship game. I love it. Like we got with Bloodsport and Peacemaker, we're going to get that with Vigilante and him. I'm for it.
Yep, totally. We also get to see that Peacemaker's dad, who's played by the T-1000, Robert Patrick. And they in it, they fight a guy that, to me, the costume looked like Nathan Fillion's character, TDK, from the movie.
That's who I thought it was.
Well, yeah, but then there's a shot, and it's like, well, that's not Nathan Fillion. And I literally just brought up the IMDb, and there's a character, there's an actor credited as Judo Master, who's from the same line of comics that Peacemaker was originally from. Okay. It's like, oh, that must be who it is.
Okay, because I was like, TDK is pop and just shot up the shit. Like, because this is a continuation, which again, shouts out to James Gunn and them for keeping this a secret, because everybody thought it was a prequel. Yep. Everybody thought Peacemaker was a prequel. We was like, oh, so John Cena dies. Cool. And when he died in the Suicide Squad, spoiler alert, everybody was like, okay, I kind of figured that. And then the end credit scene, you go, oh, you slick bastard. Yep. Oh, you slick bastard. And I say that to say, when you saw TDK get the shit shot about him and on the beach, you're like, oh my God, is this did they patch him up too and bring him back and put them back together?
I also like the way that, spoilers for the Suicide Squad, but I also like that how they explain that, like, he gets shot through the net, like he's in, like, rubble falls on him and shit. And then what happens? He got better. It's like, sure, that's all we need. I don't need a complicated explanation of how he survived this. Whatever. They just fought a giant starfish monster. I don't care.
He got shot, did it. But again, look, spoiler alert, Titans did it with Nightwing, but the difference is there's a Lazarus pit now. But I guess, again, there's this thing of heroes realize if I get shot in the neck, apply pressure, and eventually I won't bleed out to death, I think. I guess. Sure. I hold it enough, I clot up. I guess that's the theory we're going with.
I will say this, and this is actually going to matter more when we talk about the Batman trailer. I'm a little on the fence about how inconsequential we're making getting shot in movies. I feel like it's might be irresponsible.
Okay, I'm only laughing because of like, yo, he's got a good ass point. People like, hey man, you just shoot him. Guess what? He'll be back up in 26 minutes. What?
Yeah, like people are like, I got shot in the stomach. I'll walk off and be fine. It's like, I get that it's not vital organs, but you're gonna be like pooping in a bag, dude. Like, it's not like you're just gonna be fine.
And again, the Peacemaker costume, nothing about that looks bulletproof. Nothing
about the helmet, like, maybe. The helmet, maybe.
The helmet is the only thing, but nothing else about that looks. So, like, getting shot in the neck, he's like, yeah, your neck's all the way open, as are your arms. Yeah. And your biceps.
And nobody's coming to pick you up for at least a few hours.
Like, you ain't clotted up that quick, did you? Like, if you clotted up that fast, something's wrong. You're meta. You're not
and
human.
we might establish that in the show that he has some sort of low key, like Captain America has the super soldier serum. He maybe has something some low key meta, whatever. We'll see. But we will see in January 2022, which is when Peacemaker drops on HBO Max. So now let's jump to, we were talking about it earlier. We're back now with Shazam! Fury of the Gods. We got some behind-the-scenes footage on this, as we mentioned briefly before Asher Angel introduces it, and he straight up looks like he's about ready to graduate from college.
Was it again? As a father, I forget how quick your kids grow because I FaceTime my daughter every day, and every day my daughter's bigger and bigger. And I'm like, "What are you, Audrey 2 in your sleep?" Like Little Shop of Horrors reference, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. That's what I did. I damn sure did that. But he's grown, and then again, when you look at him, the casting choices they did they replaced Mary, the actress who plays Mary. Yeah. Where now she's going to be the same actress when she changes and whatnot.
Yeah, because she's already basically an adult. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, it makes it adds up all the way across the board now. Yeah. It helps. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Him growing, he has to grow up. Freddie Freeman is growing up. All of them are growing up. Yeah. And so as they get older, you have to adapt to that. You can't just have them be the same little kids. Comic books are one thing, but if you're doing a series of movies where they're going to evolve, they have to grow up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. And fortunately with something like Harry Potter, like they built that into with the way they shot them, like to accommodate the fact that like, oh, son of a gun, these kids are going to grow up. You know what I mean? We can't wait 3 years in between movies.
We gotta literally shoot 2 movies, 1 or 2 movies at the same time. Like we got to knock this out because you're going to grow. Mm-hmm. Like, and this sounds weird. I know it's gonna sound weird, especially when you have characters that play little girls, because they start to grow and develop, and you're like, oh, we weren't ready for the character to be fooled out yet. Mm-hmm. We weren't ready for that. Yeah. Like with the boys, it's like, all right, we've always casted older dudes to play younger guys. It's always been this thing in Hollywood. But when the girls start to fill out, you're like, shit, we got to address the fact she's not a little girl per se anymore. Yeah. Like not go directly fully into it. Yeah. But there's a change as opposed to what the character is supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how Asher Angel looks in the movie, depending on when this intro was filmed to when the movie was filmed. So the interesting thing about this footage is it's definitely playing up the mythological aspect a lot. We get a lot of we see a little bit of Helen Mirren as Hespera and Lucy Liu as Calypso, and we see concept art of some of the monsters are going to be fighting, like mythological creatures. And I don't know about you, but I got like old school, like not the new Clash of the Titans, but like old school Clash of the Titans.
Yep. I was like, oh, give me this. Mm-hmm. But it's good because it's always now the first movie has to establish your characters. Yeah. Now let's give you a little more backstory on it. Let's give you where the powers come from and all this other stuff. Because clearly you got 2 gods who are like, why do these mortals have these powers? Yeah. You know, why do they have these powers? Why do they have this magic? Yeah. And all of this. And again, the Calypso reference, the crown. Yeah. Black Adam.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if there's like a relationship between Calypso and Eclipso. And how they address.
Right, I know you meant Eclipso, but I'm thinking like the crown. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like the way
still
those
early, ladies. Still early, ladies.
It's all good. And again, it's like they talk about the upgrade in the suits. I wonder if part of the upgrade with this, like making sure their suits were cooler. It's like we got to keep up with Black Adam over there. We can't have like the Shazam clan suits look lame next to Black Adam's.
I need to know the reasoning. And of course the movie will probably tell it. Yeah. Why? Because I'm assuming if anything, Freddy is the reason they get the upgrade in the suits.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because it is tough, right? It's not like the bat suit where like we took it back to formula or whatever. It's like it's magic. So what did you do?
It's magic. It's literally magic. Like it's set in magic too of what the suit should look like. So Freddy being the one who understands superheroes and everything is probably going to talk to Bill. Something's going to happen like, hey, because the fact that they've decorated the Rock of Eternity is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, because they like put like graffiti on the 7 deadly sins and stuff like that, right? Like they color them up and everything. Yeah.
They've like, which is again, what do you expect a group of kids to do
100%
in a magical lair?
Yep.
Especially with the 7 deadly sins that you just beat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, y'all gonna be all mad. Y'all gonna be mad.
Yep.
You got lipstick on. Greed. Greed. You got on this lipstick.
So do you think going back to the Black Adam thing, how do you think we're going to, like, is there going to be a teaser after Black Adam and after Shazam 2? So wait, for my own benefit, Shazam 2 comes out in 2023, it comes out a year after, a little less than a year after Black Adam. So do you think we'll get like a tease at the end of Black Adam? Will it be a tease at the end of Shazam? How do you think they're going to go about integrating these characters?
I think the tease for Black Adam that we'll get is we need another champion.
Mm-hmm.
Just, that's it.
Yeah.
Just say, we need a champion just in case. Something like that. Something has to reference another champion, i.e. Shazam.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you need in Black Adam. That's all you need. Then in Shazam Fury of the Gods, the cutout scene from the first one, remember, the cutout scene in the Rock of Eternia, there's 7 thrones.
Yeah.
Who's the 7th?
Yeah. So
now that'll probably play into this one, whereas they've heard, all of a sudden, again, they know about magic now.
Yeah.
Somehow they find out about the story again. Remember, Billy was told the story. They chose a champion once. Something in the post-credit scene will lead them to either the tomb of Black Adam or somewhere the two of them will butt heads real quick.
Yeah. So do you think that'll be, is there a chance, like, will it be like straight up like a Shazam versus Black Adam, like its own standalone movie, or will it be like a Shazam 3?
I think it'll be a Shazam versus Black Adam, but it'll be Shazam 3.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of like Batman v Superman was technically Man of Steel 2.
2.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Man of Steel 2 is Batman. I know a lot of people want a proper Man of Steel 2, but that's all it is. Shazam 3 is going to be Shazam versus, and God is my witness, they better not call it Shazam versus Black Adam.
No, what they will do is call it Black Adam versus Shazam. One of those two people's a bigger star.
Black Adam, all in thick ass letters.
Yeah,
versus
Shazam. Well, I'm excited to check it out, and I'll be interested, especially since they're really hitting hard that Black Adam is an anti-hero, not necessarily completely a villain. That makes it that gives them a little bit of wiggle room to let it be the classic, like Shazam and Black Adam fight, but then they need to team up against whoever
So Mr. Mind might be the thing, because
I love the idea of Black Adam facing Mr. Mind. I like the idea that like Mr. Mind set up as this huge threat, and then Black Adam just steps on him. Yeah.
I will take over the world. I will bring forth. Shut your ass up.
He electrocutes it like that one guy just shocks it to death.
I mean, because again, we set up Mr. Mind in the first one.
Yeah.
There's no reference so far in the second one.
Yeah.
So granted, Mr. Mind may be a pawn into a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Into a bigger scheme, but who knows?
It also makes me wonder. I know that the current Justice League comics written by Brian Bendis have incorporated Black Adam as part of the Justice League, which feels obviously very intentional with Black Adam coming out. But it does make me think about, like, I wonder what their plans are of a potential Justice League 2. And I got to imagine Black Adam factors into that. And I mostly got to imagine that because I just really want to see Henry Cavill Superman fight Black Adam.
Did you ever hear the rumor a while back that when the Suicide Squad sequel was being drawn up, that who they were supposed to fight, what it was, Waller was having them track a weapon of mass destruction in Egypt. Mm. The weapon of mass destruction was Black Adam.
I did hear this, and I thought that would have been, I really liked the Suicide Squad, but I also think that would have been really cool.
That'd have been so dope.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. You give me a giant starfish that was minding his own goddamn business space.
Yep.
That America did what America does. Like, but the thought of having that Suicide Squad team go and to have John Cena's Peacemaker also.
Oh shit! Yeah,
versus
yeah.
Black Adam. You get what I'm saying? Like, that kind of worked. So I don't know how big of a threat do you make him. Again, like we said, going into 3, do you make him the ultimate threat? Do you make him the team up threat? If you do Justice League going forward, do you like, hey, we kind of need, like, if you bring another Darkseid, because like who's really bigger than Darkseid in the DC? Let's look, just bring Granny Goodness, and they're like, we need somebody to handle Granny Goodness. Mm-hmm. Who handles Granny? You know that dude that was whooping everybody's ass with lightning?
Yeah.
Don't call him.
You know that guy that kicked the Shazam family's ass? Maybe we should call that guy.
You know the dude that whooped the dog shit out of 6 people with just as much magic as him?
Zachary Levi shows up. Can I be the Justice League? No. That depends. Right. Can we get Black Adam? If we can't get Black Adam, you're on board. But
like we put out some feelers. You know, we waiting on a call back from him. We put an offer out on the table. Now, if you don't call us back, you in, bro.
We reach out to his people. We'll see what they say. So speaking of lightning transition, let's talk about the Flash teaser that we got. But before we do that, let's talk about Ezra Miller and his little intro and the whole thing he had going on there. What was going on there? What's going on with Ezra Miller?
He's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
He's definitely on the spectrum because they say some people on the spectrum don't have good social skills. Mm-hmm. He don't have real life skills.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you wearing whatever you wear, but you're like, yeah, so we kind of don't have nothing. We don't. Like, did you even know what you were supposed to say, bro?
Because also he's like, we don't have anything to show you. But that was a teaser. You did have something to show.
A whole ass teaser, like.
So speaking of the teaser, we get a lot in it. A car pulls up to old school Wayne Manor from the Batman '89 movies, and who gets out of the car is two Barrys. We'll get into that more in a second. But so we get a glimpse of there's an alternate Barry. We get a glimpse of the new Supergirl. And of course, we get we hear what sounds to be Michael Keaton's voice doing the kind of like the narration over the teaser, and we get a glimpse of his Batman from behind.
Yes,
but we don't see him like full costume in it.
You know why, right?
No,
because if they'd have shown that, nobody would have gave a shit about the Batman.
That's a good point.
Think about it. You show Michael Keaton. Mm-hmm. In his cowl, like you saw you show Keaton. Look, Pattinson's happening, blah 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 blah. Nice little trailer, but Michael Keaton, that's pretty much the big thing.
Yep.
And so you say, I just want to know who the villain is.
So that's an interesting point because, as far as I know, and correct me if you've heard differently, the filming is wrapped. Correct?
Yes.
So just based on the fact, like, listen, I would love to live in a world where I have no idea who the villain of the Flash is until I sit down in the theater, but we don't live in that world. So if somebody had been cast as, say, Reverse Flash, we would know that at this point. There is, the release is November 2022, so obviously this is not a Flashpoint movie. However, it does look like it's pulling from Flashpoint. So if it does a Flashpoint-esque thing where Reverse Flash shows up at the end and is like, aha, it was me the whole time, theoretically, they could get that. They could cast somebody and get that in pickups. However, the one thing I wanted to run by you and see what you think is a couple who time is a construct. I don't know. It's a fat circle. I don't know when time is. However long ago, Andy Muschietti posted a picture that looked like the classic bat symbol, spray painted red with a lightning bolt on it. In this trailer, we see that's being worn by who I'm going to call the other Barry. So now I know when people saw that, they're like, oh, it's going to be Red Death from the comics, who is like an evil Bruce Wayne that's also the Flash or whatever. And I'm like, don't do that. But now I'm wondering if they're going to take some of the DNA of that character and give it to this alternate Barry, and maybe that Barry will be the villain of the movie.
So that's what I was hearing. That's what I've been saying. I've been hearing that, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure if he's the exact villain because everybody's like, oh, it's going to be Barry versus Barry. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that complicates that is, let's try and unpack this. So in the narration, Michael Keaton's Batman's talking about how, like, listen, you can travel to the other world. Why does this world matter? Over that, we see footage of what looks like Barry approaching his mom. So what I'm getting out of this is that instead of Flashpoint, where he fucks up reality to save his mom, he's jumped to another reality where his mom is alive. Implying to me that this other Barry might not have his powers. You know what I mean? Like, he might just be a dude.
And he might have stole a Batman suit and made it where it can move fast, possibly.
Possibly. He might
very smart. So
yeah, and maybe they get the costume when he goes to Wayne Manor, and that's why I'm thinking like. And then there's interesting implications. So does that mean what's the actress's name? Sasha Calle.
Yeah,
her Supergirl is the Supergirl of the Keaton Batman universe.
Again, they're flashpointing this without flashpointing this, like you just said.
Yeah,
but that's why you know what? All the questions you asked, to be quite honest, are why I'm glad this is a teaser and I don't know anything. Because again, like I stated earlier, we get trailers and we're starting to we get trailers. We're like, oh, so this is what happens here and what happens here, what happens here. We have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
We have no clue. And so I'm like, I can live with it.
Yeah,
I can live with it.
So it would be amazing, and it would be incredible, is if they meet Sasha Calle's Supergirl, and she's like, "We need to go find Clark," and it's Nicolas Cage's Superman, the Superman movie we never got.
I'm out of here. All right, I'm done. Thanks for my time, y'all. With the Superman suit on,
with the Superman suit and the long hair he was supposed to have. That long hair he was supposed to.
Look, with the shit Nicolas Cage has done recently with Pig and all these other movies, it would not surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. If that be the case, I need Muschietti to make sure it is never seen in a trailer. It is never implied in a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that needs to happen only in the movie to surprise everybody.
Yeah.
Because again, if you're going to do it, if you're going to bring in Keaton, if you're going to bring in Affleck, right? If you're going to go ahead and play this, we're using the different actors from the different universes who played Superman. Again, yes, Nicolas Cage's Superman never came to fruition.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go ahead and throw it in there, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Again, throw Brandon Routh in there. Play this like this is Crisis for all I care. If you're going to make it happen, make it happen. But I trust Muschietti to make it work. Again, I would have still rather seen Rick Famuyiwa. You would do it.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just,
I'll be interested to see, when like when you go see Ant-Man, after, Edgar Wright was let go, and then you see the Falcon scene, which I like the Falcon scene in that movie, but you're like, oh, this is probably why he left, because he didn't want to do this. He didn't want to have it. He wanted to just do his movie. You know what I mean? He didn't want to have it. And so it'll be interesting to go see this movie, and it will probably be wrong, but there will definitely be that feeling of like, oh, this is probably why Rick Famuyiwa, they wanted to do this and he didn't want it.
Well, also remember, the script has been rewritten so many times. So we don't know what the initial idea was. Like, was Flashpoint always their out?
Well, because there's no way, I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but the actor they cast for Thomas and Martha Wayne and Batman v Superman, it's like, oh, you did that because you thought you were making a Flashpoint movie. That's why you cast these people.
Yep.
No.
Oh, they did
Walking Dead. I can't remember.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I can't. Why can't I remember his name for the life of me? Jeffrey
Dean Morgan, and I think
Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
and it's Lauren Cohen, right?
And Lauren Cohen, yes. So it's like that's a time everybody was like, that could be a Thomas Wayne Batman, and we're fine with it. But again, that Flashpoint was your out. If it doesn't work, if you're like, we got these plans, if it don't work, what is the way we can reset all this and it doesn't affect us? Flashpoint. Is this Flashpoint? Like you said, not necessarily. There's elements, it seems to be, the multiple Batmans, multiple Flashes. Does he change the universe? I don't know. But also, I want to at your point real quick, and we can move forward after this. Can anybody say why they haven't changed the name of the movie yet? Because it is I saw it on Twitter, and I thought about it too. If you type in The Flash in Google, Google doesn't know the difference until you identify the movie or the TV show.
Yeah.
Google doesn't know the difference. So you have to literally, it's as easy as writing one or two extra words.
Yeah.
But if you have a normal movie, you just know if you type some of it, it pops in, it autofills.
Yep.
So like, is The Flash the permanent name of this movie?
Yeah.
Or does it change? Because remember, look, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was just, they didn't want to let you know that he was actually going to be Captain America.
Yeah.
So now it's Captain America, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So does it change later? Is something, something different happen? Who knows?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they play that out. I do know that we get a little tease of what looks like a bloody Batfleck mask on the ground. I don't know what that's going to mean. And we also get a shot of the Flash ring. Before we move on, I want to know what you think about the new costume, because I feel mixed about it.
I'm mixed. I'm like, why is it all these, like, look, I just got used to the aerodynamic spacesuit with the tension things on it, which worked for why he said it was.
Yep.
Again, the Barry Allen making that way, he made it. You telling me there's a suit that somebody was just like, nah, this sits around with lightning going through. It's how I feel sometimes with some of the Flash CW suits.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like, nah, fam, we good.
Yeah. I feel like and it's like I don't want to be too hard on this this suit, because like you pointed out, I feel like it's taken them, the Flash TV show like 7 seasons to be like, oh no, actually this is pretty good. This is a pretty good whatever. The part that threw me for a loop is there's one shot where it looks like, I think he's looking up at a security camera or something, but he's looking up and the helmet fits his head weird, and it's like, yeah, but the one thing that really worked about the Snyder suit was the helmet. Like the helmet was like, oh, you nailed that. The rest of it is a little busy, but like the helmet's good. And it's like, so you just leave you should have left the helmet. Because now it reminds me of, it looks chunky. It reminds me of the Injustice, the costume he wears in Injustice.
Where he's knowing I might take a hit in the head from Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, if we're going off of, I know it's not technically canon anymore, but if we're going off the Snyder cut, if I saw Superman does what he does in that movie, I'd be like, maybe I should wear more protective gear, because who knows when that guy's going to just fly off the handle.
And just get upset. You know what? I'm going to need something that's going to take a lot of force because, they dig him up all of a sudden. Yeah. He angry. Yeah. Like
he's still. And I heard people the other day joking about how much, because in that fight where they fight Superman, the Justice League fight Superman, he goes after Barry. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to, just in case, I'm going to just make sure I can take a hit from that guy.
Like, what did Barry do that Barry is the one that gets his, like Diana, Arthur, all of them are here. Barry's the one that
fuck. All right, so that is the Flash, and again, that's coming out November 4th, 2022. So we have plenty of time. We have a year to speculate about that one. Something that is coming much sooner, but close out the presentation was, of course, the Batman, the new Matt Reeves movie starring Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. It's coming out in March of 2022. This opened with a Q&A between Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, and I kind of liked their conversation about it. I will say the one part that really stood out to me was Matt Reeves talking about, like, yeah, we just really wanted to do a grounded, gritty Batman early in his career, like nobody's ever done before. And it's like with Batman Begins like just happened.
Like, hey, bro, the Nolan movies exist. Yeah. Like, and they weren't. Here's the thing about the Nolan movies: not only do they exist, they weren't bad. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like when we were coming off the Joel Schumacher movies.
Right. We're like, Batman Begins is a thing. Mm-hmm. Like, we watch Bruce train. We see how the suit got, like, we watched day one Batman. Mm-hmm. We watched the evolution of a base jumping suit to a cape. What do you, like?
Yeah, and it was weird too. So when he said that, I was like, well, I guess, listen, even, Batman Begins is grounded, especially when you compare it to the Schumacher movies, but there was like a whole ninja terrorist cult in that movie. So it's like, you know what, maybe I see what he's saying. And then the trailer played and I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't look all that grounded to me.
Well, here's the thing, the ninja terrorist cult, and when you think about it in Batman Begins, are because of Batman, him leaving the league, which makes sense. Like, bitch, you think you just go out here and leave and like we don't know who you are, and you just gonna go just fight crime? No, hell no. You told Ra's al Ghul the whole reason you were here. Yeah. What your plan was. Mm-hmm. Why? So then a dude shows up, he disappears in the night, and he fight a bat. And you're like, okay, but then you see the Batman one, like I said on Twitter, Robert Pattinson's Batman looks like an emo kid with a lot of money that said, fuck therapy. That's literally what he looks like.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be. Look, some of the scenes, some of the action shots, Matt Reeves does that well.
Yeah.
The Ape series shows us that.
Yep.
Matt Reeves can do action shots, shootouts. He can do it well. And a lot of it's done well. Colin Farrell is the Penguin. You would have to pay me money if I didn't know that was him.
Yep.
Past that. Because I'd have lost a bet. Like, the dude, one of the dudes from The Sopranos.
Yeah,
I'd have said it's crazy. That's Colin Farrell. But again, it's like, what's so grounded? What's so gritty? What's different than what we saw,
in
Batman Begins?
Yeah, totally. And I think which it's going to sound like I'm ripping on this trailer. I like the trailer, but last year the clip they showed, the tone of it, the way it was put together, like literally in the past year, there will be nights where I'm just chilling. I'll just put that trailer on just because the mood of it. I just really like the shot of him like just walking through cops. I'm like, oh man, he's not doing the Batman thing where he's like appearing and disappearing. He has to walk through this line of cops. Like that's a dude. You know what I mean? Like and so I really vibed with that. So when you get to this one and you've got like the Batmobile jumping fiery explosions and they're talking about how the city's a powder keg and Riddler is the match, and they do the thing that they did in Dark Knight and now they've done with a bunch of other movies since, where the bad guy's captured but somehow he's more dangerous when he's captured, and it's like I feel like I've seen this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that tone. I don't like that theme of I wanted you to catch me.
Yeah.
Why? Because now you'll know what my real plan is. And it's like, yo, first of all, I wanted you to catch me while I was about to drink a good ass latte.
Yeah, and also
put
the question mark in the latte. Did he do it? Did he like, wait a second, hold on, cops, wait, question mark.
Or did he tell his barista, you know how I like it, and then just sat down like?
Yeah, he's been doing that for weeks, waiting for the cops to find him. Like every day he comes in and asks for the question mark latte.
And they don't think nothing. It was like, this guy just comes in. He wants a latte with a question mark.
I mean, whatever. We're not gonna. Don't ask questions.
I literally don't ask questions, and it tests my artistic skills to make sure I get the same question mark. And that was another thing, seeing him like that. I was kind of glad to see Paul Dano look as a regular dude. Because, of course, you know what everybody's going, where's the green suit? Blah, blah, blah. Like they did the same thing with Corey Michael. What was his last name? I can't remember his last name. In Gotham. When does he get the suit? When does he get... Yo, he can be the Riddler. I understand he's synonymous having that green suit.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, and that's the crazy part too about this. He's the main villain.
Yeah.
Right? But what do we see more of in this trailer?
Yeah.
Penguin.
Yeah, we see more Penguin.
And is the Joker running around here already?
You're talking about
the guys with the
face paint.
The face paint.
Well, and that's another thing too that I find a little bit concerning is that like a lot of superhero movies, and Batman in particular, has a tendency to engage with crime and criminality as if it's like still the 70s, and it's like it's not though. So when I see Batman beating up a diverse group of people in the street, it's like, am I rooting for Batman? Like I get that they're wearing clown face paint or whatever it is, but like these people are just probably trying to make rent. Like
Batman's superpower is white privilege. I will always say that, and I will stand on that.
Yeah.
Batman is the only dude who can beat up people in a poor neighborhood and everybody thinks he's helping. He terrifies the citizens, not the criminals, the citizens.
Yep.
Not in the middle class of Gotham either.
Nope.
Only in the poor parts of Gotham.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, no, Batman's helping. Helping who?
Yeah. Oh, we know who.
Real quick, before we move forward, answer this question, DJ.
Yeah.
In all the years that we've seen Batman, in all the iterations through comic book, television, cartoon, and film, that Batman has been Batman, has Gotham ever gotten better? I'll wait.
No, because it can't. Because then we cease telling Batman stories, which I feel like there's an interesting story in that where like you could tell a Batman story where you have to acknowledge like no, he doesn't want it to get better because then he has to stop being Batman.
Because they've done stories where they talk about, because again, like they even said, Bruce Wayne is the costume, Batman is the person.
Yeah,
like Bruce Wayne is the superhero identity.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But it's like Batman never really helps. Like everybody's like, oh, Batman's so cold, he does this. how has Batman helped Gotham for real?
Yeah.
What has, every time he starts, he takes down one criminal, 10 new ones appear.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think there's something interesting, and maybe, like you said earlier, these are teasers, these are trailers, we don't know the whole thing. And I do think they're trying to complicate it a little bit with Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman. It was really cool seeing more of her. Very excited for that. I will also say there has been rumors of like, they're talking about a Penguin series. And it's like, but Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman's right. Why would you do a Penguin series before you did a Catwoman series with Zoe Kravitz? Are you fucking kidding me? Is it because she doesn't want to? Like, what is the reasoning behind that?
That would be the only thing I could see. I mean, like,
listen, I love Colin Farrell, but like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, you have Zoe Kravitz right here, and then I guess the thought process is, well, what does Selena Kyle do without Bruce Wayne?
She has a whole comic series. She has a whole
lot.
She's had
a lot.
She's had her own ongoing comic series for decades.
Like, you can have Selena. Again, Selena's a thief.
Yeah.
No matter what. There's shit to steal.
Yeah, she's had her own antagonist. There's a lot you can do.
I mean, and by they I mean Warner Media and all of them, they are so high on this Batman thing already. You already got the Gotham PD series coming out behind it. Again, Penguin, like we just said.
and by the way, couldn't you just fit whatever you would do with that character in the show? Couldn't you just fit it into the Gotham PD show? Because it's like they're going to need to chase down some criminal.
Somebody. Yeah. I think what happened is because of the, and I use this term loosely, success of Gotham. Because it ran for so long, it was successful.
It did. You're right. It is technically successful.
It is. You see what I said? I had to use the term loosely. Success of Gotham. You had Robin Lloyd Taylor as the Penguin, which was still really weird, but he was the Penguin. And so they were like, oh, if it worked here, then it can work there. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. That's that thought process of it worked in his TV show for X. I mean, he started out as a regular dude that also got his leg broke. And now all of a sudden he never gained weight. He just waddled when he walked.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Penguin went through this whole thing of life. And I understand, okay, now we all of a sudden decide to find out Penguin is gay. Cool. And y'all just like, this is the direction. And it took away from the Penguin being brutal.
Yeah.
When he went for his, so I'm like, I guess they felt like if we could go all these directions with the Penguin in Gotham, we can go with this in its own series. But again, that ain't saying a lot.
Yeah. And also, like we mentioned earlier, Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. Literally right. She's literally right there.
Zoe Kravitz is right. Back the truck up.
Yeah, I would watch it. I would 100% watch a Catwoman show with Zoe Kravitz in it. I would 1000% watch it. But that's maybe there's a talks. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. Maybe they're just still trying to figure out the logistics of that.
Maybe and again, I want to make sure I'm clarified. All the shit they did with Penguin and Gotham, is cool. It just didn't add up in the whole story of Gotham with everything they was trying to do.
Yeah,
because shit got so convoluted.
No, I hear what you're saying. You want Colin Farrell's Penguin to make out with the Riddler, the serial killer Riddler in the Batman. I hear you.
Just like he made out with he was trying to make out the serial killer Riddler in the Gotham City. Look, I want to see this. I want to see Oswald Cobblepot kiss Edward Nygma all in the mouth.
Yeah. This particular Edward Nygma that's wearing a leather mask 90% of the time.
Which, by the way, why does Batman's cowl look like one of them old leather helmets from the?
And so this goes to the other thing I mentioned. I like the cowl in that it lets Robert Pattinson be expressive, which is good.
Yes.
But again, when we're talking about a grounded Batman, like literally somebody unloads an automatic weapon right into that suit, and apparently the bullets just bounce off, and it's like, but isn't the point of Batman that he's stealthy, so he doesn't need like literally bullet retardant armor,
and he never has just directly taken on. When is Batman ever in any issue? Unless I'm missing something.
Well, the only one that happens in, it's not automatic fire. It's pistol fire in Batman v Superman. He straight up takes a bullet to the head. Yeah. But again, that's a Zack Snyder movie where things are already amped up to like 11. So you're like, sure, he can resist bullets. If we're talking about like this is supposed to be a gritty, realistic Batman, it's like that armor doesn't exist, my friend.
Look, again, if that armor exists, this is the problem I have with Batman. And some people got to understand this logic. if that armor exists and it is only from the R&D department of Wayne Enterprises, and there is a dude running around the streets in this, y'all not gonna put 2 and 2 together easily.
Yeah.
Again, Coleman Reese in The Dark Knight was like, yo, I was checking figures in the inventory and shit, and shit's missing. Like,
Yep. The one thing I will say, speaking of the R&D, I do like what they're doing with the Batmobile. More than like when it's, you look at the Burton Batmans, you can look at the Nolan Batmans, where it's essentially like a tank. It's like, at least this is a car that I can believe is on the, like, you would see it and you'd be like, oh, that's the Batmobile, but it would still be able to like work on it can be on the road. It's road, right, it's street legal.
What you basically said is Batman can be in rush hour traffic and you'd be like, that's a nice car that guy got right there. Like, you don't realize that it's the Batmobile.
Yeah, he's not having to run over other cars just to get where he's going.
Well, see, again, that's the thing I like. That's the grounded part.
Yeah.
In regards to this, he doesn't have a ready-made vehicle.
Yeah.
He has to make a car per se.
Yeah.
You have to make a car. Again, The Dark Knight, the Tumbler, which was like, that's a tank. Like you said, that's a goddamn tank. Yeah. Okay. The Batmobile from Keaton, West, all those, Kilmer, those are like, oh, who the hell made this specially made machine this sleek with one seat?
Yeah, who made this dildo spaceship that's driving around our streets?
Okay, I'm glad you said it. Because I didn't want to be like, yo, who made the rolling dick?
Yeah.
Like, but you get to this one. This is like a challenge. It looked like a Challenger.
Yeah.
An old school Challenger, some muscle car, which I can see that being Batman with a muscle car. But then it also goes to this question of, again, maybe thinking too much, the Batmobile and things that it's always been known to do is to get out of sticky situations. Yeah. If Batman's caught up if the police have him cornered.
Yeah.
So how much muscle is a Dodge Challenger, old school Challenger? How amped up did him and Alfred do it to where it can get, again, we see it go through fire. So I probably just answered my own question.
Yeah. And I will say for the criticisms I have for this trailer, the final shot where like Penguin's upside down in the car and Batman's like walking on a flame is like, that looks rad as fuck.
Okay. That was the shot that everybody was like, take my money. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not knocking the trailer. I'm going off DJ with some of the things he said. Again, I've never seen Batman directly take fire. Like I've never just seen, like Superman does that.
Yes.
Superman walks and takes all these bullets and he's like, bitch, keep going. Like he doesn't. Batman has never directly wanted to take fire because it's like he don't know exactly how many bullets he can take at one time.
Yeah.
It's bulletproof to an extent.
Well, and then it also raises the question of like, everybody likes to say like, oh, why don't you just shoot him in the mouth? Anybody that's just casually been to the firing range with like a pistol knows that like with a moving target, that's easier said than done. If you're unloading an entire automatic clip in the person, one of those bullets is going in the mouth. Like that's just happening. And he's just walking. He's not like dodging. He's just walking at you. It's like you could probably make that happen.
Well, the shot we keep talking about, somebody getting shot in the neck.
Yeah,
that is guaranteed to happen with automatic fire just letting off.
Yeah, just you don't even have to aim. Like one guy with a shotgun, anyway.
We'll Batman in real life dies on the first mission.
Dies on night one.
He dies on night one.
Yeah, that's the story. Batman night one. It didn't go great. The end. All right, so those are our thoughts on the DC Fandome event. Jay, thank you again for coming on and talking about it.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you so much.
Remind everybody at home where they can find you and what they should be looking out for from you.
Absolutely, man. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. As always, the Mad Titan Podcast. Everywhere you get your podcast from, I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. It's Barbershop Talk for Nerds. Come on in that convo. Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Myself and my co-host Winston A. Marshall. We talk about the world of pop culture, news, sports, entertainment, nerd stuff, and a whole lot more from a Blurs perspective. And we are unapologetically black. YouTube.com and twitch.tv, both /Blurs in the Hood, BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD.
Damn, all that like a fucking pro. You got all through all that. I couldn't even say the sentence I just said right now without tripping on my own words. And you got through all that shit listen, go check all of that out. There will be links in the description, all that stuff. Go give it some love. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash. You can find this show at Only Stupid Answers everywhere that matters. But on Twitter, you're going to want to yank the vowels out of stupid. And we will be back next week with more stuff. If you wanted the full discussion that Jay and I had about all of this stuff, you can check that out at Patreon. There was also another episode Roxy and I recorded early this week, and you can check that out early at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. We got an amazing community over there, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. And we will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.